Counter-Strike Global Offensive was the absolute peak of first-person shooters. 5v5, one team gotta plant the bomb, the other team has to defuse it. Pretty simple, right? Wrong. This game is one of the most intense and mentally draining shooters in the entire world. Players even compete for millions of dollars around the world. There's millions of monthly players that grind this game like it's their religion. There is a small percentage of players who rise up through local LANs, qualifiers, random tournaments, and these players are the ones who become the pros. The pros are clearly a cut above the average player, and they can make a career out of playing this game. Now, there's another breed of players, the superstars. The superstars are much like the pros, but they have a key distinction. They smurf and destroy the pros. You have your Nikos, the Devices, the Zywus. Some people think he's the GOAT, he's not. Alige. But there is only one player who has ever risen above the superstars, and his name is
Олександр Олегович Костелєв.
s1mple, the GOAT. This is the first part in a mini-series I'm doing on this fine young Ukrainian man. Today we're going to talk about his rise and journey to save a dying region, followed by his eventual homecoming. Grab your snacks and lock in. This is going to be some serious lore. 2014 to 2015, the start. Early on, if you were paying attention, you knew s1mple was an absolute prodigy and phenom from the start of his career. You wouldn't know this though if you were the average fan, just because he was kicked off every single team he played for. But if he's a prodigy, why would they kick him?
Germans. See ya in hell, Germans.
Really nice to play with you. You're playing like fucking bitch. Drop me my op.
I need help, s1mple.
Drop me op, please.
Oh, worst teammate ever. Yeah, I'm dead, yes, because you...
Nice, s1mple, man.
Shut up, you fucking old fuck.
Okay, so imagine that you are the best player of all time, and every person that you play with cannot comprehend the game as well as you. And not only that, they get paid more than you. Pretty frustrating, right? Every time the enemy does something, you have the perfect read and reaction. Meanwhile, you gotta watch your teammates do shit like this.
I think it was Blade versus Zeus in a 1v1. The bomb is planted on A site on default. You guys are all pros, you know where this is. And then what does Zeus do? Zeus goes to Arch. And then Blade hears Zeus's Arch. There's no time to fake it and kill the guy. Blade sticks the bomb. Zeus throws some shit. Blade gets off the bomb to peek him. And then Zeus is run away and they lose the map. s1mple is so tilted that he tweets out, "I can't believe players that have this much experience can do things that are this stupid." And then deletes Blade off of Steam at the LAN and leaves the team.
There's no time to actually fake anyway.
There's no time!
The reason why Susan...
Look at s1mple, dude!
That's what it's like to be s1mple. And hell, I would be mad too. I get more mad at people who are clearly worse than the pros he's playing with in matchmaking. Now, 2014 being s1mple's first career year was relatively uneventful, except for the fact that he beat the major winners on LAN just 3 months after they won ESL 1 Cologne 2014. Now, admittedly, everyone knew roster changes were around the corner. NIP just wasn't the team that they once were. Regardless, this was a promising result from someone who's so fresh to the scene. What's even more impressive is that s1mple and his team at the time, Hellraisers, managed to secure a spot at the DreamHack Winter 2014 Major and the playoffs to the Major. And this time, they actually beat the best team in the world on LAN. Now, French fans can fight me on that. Just keep in mind, you guys are the only ones who have won a major while losing a playoff series. Another aside is that both of these results were BO1s. BO1s can't be taken as seriously as BO3s just because anything can happen. A lot of people, when they saw s1mple beat NIP and Fnatic, just assumed that it was a one-off and probably would never happen again. Now, all this buzz around the s1mple guy attracted a lot of attention from prominent CIS figures, including this guy. Blade will be important later, but for now, s1mple has just joined Flipside in 2015. Let's be real, Flipside was garbage. There was one good thing that came from our main character's time on that team though. At ESWC 2015, the American savior stood in for Flipside. Together, the American and the Ukrainian carried the ever-loving shit out of Flipside to its deepest run ever. This was s1mple's last event with Flipside because, well, no one wanted to play with him. This was a team of mostly veterans who just couldn't stand him, despite the fact that he was the only reason they won games. One of the players even said one of the most poorly aging quotes of all time. I feel really great that he left. And from that point on, that team was pretty much irrelevant. Still, a seed had been planted from his time on Flipside. North America at the time was in absolute shambles following the bans of some of the best players in the region. NA had become a region full of old fogies constantly cycling in and out of the top teams. Fortunately, Hiko knew this. He knew most of the young talent just wasn't ready, or even worse, had s1mple level ego without s1mple level skills.
What's the fucking going there? Like, shut your fucking mouth. Alright. This is so stupid. Like, we know what they're doing, like, where they're going, but, like, please show. Okay, just don't talk to me. Just...
So flash forward, the year's 2016. Before this and after this. No one has taken North American Counter-Strike seriously since 2015. In esports, 8 months is a lifetime, and North America has an even bigger problem at majors. They've been in a playoff drought for the last 4 majors. The actual longest playout drought of any region, except for Asia, but no one cares about Asia, of any region in the history of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Hiko was ahead of his time and the first to recognize the rot at the root of the American scene.
Wait, are they defusing? Wait, what the fuck?
Hello?
What?
Wait, what?
Why is no one defusing? What the fuck?
Yo,
What the fuck just happened?
Wait, what?
This is what led him to look elsewhere for talent. Who could he pick up? Imports at this time from other countries weren't that common in CSGO. It's very, very unlikely that Hiko and Team Liquid would find anyone willing to uproot their life and move to North America. Oh wow, that was easy. s1mple joined Team Liquid on January 2nd, 2016. This was exciting. The entire NA scene was pumped to see what the young Ukrainian would do to our region.
That's why Liquid kicked you.
Yeah? s1mple, you're fucking toxic, dude.
He was still a dick, but I mean, it was exciting. But when s1mple and Team Liquid qualified for the MLG Columbus Major in 2016, the first major in North America, everyone was excited to see what he had to bring to the table.
Last kill, I was so happy.
You got it, buddy.
Because Hellraiser's footbed.
And by God, did he show why he was a fantastic addition. This major was actually s1mple and NA's best chance of winning a major up to this point. There were mad random injuries and other weird things going on with top teams in the world. This was NA's real chance to win a major. Until this happened.
The ground there is cold. Oh,
but I mean, that's okay. We'll get him on our... Okay, so Liquid had a choking problem, and there could be an entire 3-part mini documentary on that choking problem alone. But this video isn't about Liquid, it's about s1mple. Because once again, every player on Liquid, bar Hiko, was in some way frustrated with s1mple. One player even despised him to the point that he gave an ultimatum. It made more sense simply to keep the team NA, just because this wasn't working for anyone. s1mple wanted to go home, his teammates hated him, it just wasn't working. Kusta couldn't op. s1mple was already off the team by April of that year. Fast forward to ESL 1 Cologne 2016. This is the biggest event in CS outside of the majors. So now just imagine the year when it was a major. This shit was stacked, bro. This shit had everyone. This was the biggest event of the year by far. And s1mple is standing in for Liquid for one last ride. So who's gonna win? Fnatic with 4 major winners, the best core of all time before 2018. Na'Vi fresh off a major final, or 4 American boys featuring my young goat, s1mple. Well, the rest is history.
Well, once again, they're gonna test s1mple. Oh! s1mple makes it away. No, beats it out smartly. So gets Edward, and he knows that the gun go of Zeus. He's gonna try and catch him out. Lurk up closely. He sees him coming. Nice shot by s1mple. There's 2, 1 to go. Sees. Oh, turn. They don't know they're there. If he does it, he does it. s1mple, I don't know, man. If he's confident with that, the no scope. He didn't even. He had 1 bite on his mouse stand.
Liquid beat most favorites in their run to the final, bar Virtus Pro. Eventually, they hit a brick wall in the final. And SK Gaming was just doing brick wall things. s1mple played his worst game of the entire tournament here. Pretty sad for North America, but also pretty impressive because this was the first final NA had ever reached in a major. Let's be real though, Liquid would not have made the final of the major without s1mple. Doubling down on that, s1mple's entire time on Team Liquid was a joke. It was a revolving door of IGLs, oppers, diva teenagers, players who knew their time was running out. There wasn't a stable Team Liquid lineup for more than 1 month this year. It's a miracle that Liquid made the semis of a major, let alone a final. Liquid was the first NA team to make the finals of the major, and that was due in extreme part to s1mple's talent. So fuck it, I'm the GM at Navi. I'm about to kick my IGL and pick up s1mple. Then we'll win. Let's have the coach call. That shit's gonna be smart as fuck. s1mple joined Navi towards the end of 2016 and wasted no time winning a trophy. The team had its flaws, as I'll get into. They saw immediate short-term success with the win at ESL 1 New York 2016. This was the first time that Navi took home a $250,000 tournament. Bro, why did he do that? Against his former team, that's disrespectful as hell. He started a trend for trolling teammates and matchmaking by doing this, and everything was looking pretty good for Navi until... So there's a problem. Navi doesn't have an in-game leader. s1mple is still a god, but the rest of the team, they're running around like headless chickens. Every time Navi is in a position where they can go deep, they simply just get out-called. This is a standard flowchart for a round versus 2017 Navi. Where is s1mple? Oh, he's A? Let's go B. And that's how Astralis won their first major. This wasn't a problem in 2016 because back then, coaches were able to call during the round. Navi expected to just pick up 5 fraggers and then have the coach call, until Valve made the ruling before the year started that shit is not allowed anymore. So this required Navi to have a set strat caller, who at the time was Seized. And where has Seized been for the last 7 years? This was so bad, Navi even lost to Cloud9 in Cologne 2017. Cloud9! You guys have to realize that in 2017, NA teams were an absolute joke again without my glorious king. The only deep international runs NA had up to that point were with s1mple himself. Not having an IGL didn't stop s1mple from being great though. According to some guy in Serbia, he was even the 8th best player of that year. Although anyone with an eye test would say he's like easily top 5, but whatever. Because either way, it's a miracle that he put up these numbers on a losing team without an in-game leader. The biggest insult to injury was the PGL major in Krakow. s1mple replaced Zeus back in 2016. Zeus was Navi's former IGL, and up to that point, not a single CIS team had won a major in CSGO. Now, this was the first major in 8 that Navi failed to qualify for the playoffs. Not only that, but this was the first major that a CIS team won. And add to it, it was Zeus's new team, Gambit, with a bunch of nobodies and Dozia that won this major. Imagine being in Navi and the player that you kicked goes on to win a major for CIS with the team no one expected to even make playoffs. Now, that's insulting. At the end of 2017, Navi decided to refresh its lineup with the additions of Zeus and Electronic. Instantly, tournament results started to pick up, and Navi took home a trophy at DreamHack Winter. s1mple put up a mind-boggling 1.52 rating at this tournament. Now, just for perspective, if you're at a 1.1 rating, you're a pretty good player. If you're at a 1.2 rating, you're definitely a star. 1.5 is unthinkable. As we'll talk about, this isn't even the only time s1mple put up a 1.5 rating at a tournament. 2017 was a bad year for s1mple and his team, but ironically, it wasn't even the most rage-inducing. We'll get into that, but that has to come in the second part. That's right, I'm not even talking about his GOAT year in this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe so that way you see when part 2 comes out. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Peace.